SUV or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Low overhead country indeed. We have the owners of that fine establishment here, ready, willing, and more than able to take any phone calls from you regarding the price of a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. Give us a call at 478-3116, 478-3116 to talk to Iven Streckel and or Ron Schneider. Good morning, gents.
Good morning.
Every one of us.
Welcome. That was pretty good. Yeah, you can call and talk with us. If you are radio listeners right now, you can call. We are live. And if you're watching it on cable TV, of course, the phone number will come across the bottom of the screen. We won't be live because we're taping the TV show while we're doing our radio show. And we welcome you. Yes, we are Frontier Motors. Frontier Motors is located in Pensacola, Florida. We are in the center of Escambia County. If you're looking for us on the roads, if you come from Cordova Mall, you come down past Cordova Mall, past Pensacola Christian College, and we're on the right-hand side. If you're coming from the west side of town, Blue Angel area, come down Softly Field Road, that turns into Michigan Avenue. Then it turns into Beverly Parkway when you cross W Street, and we're on the left-hand side, just outside of Car City in low overhead country.
That's right. And this show is all about advice for the people in the Pensacola area. If you need to get a value on your car, if you're driving down the road and you want to know, heck, what is that car worth if I was going to trade it in? Or perhaps you're thinking of maybe buying a brand new car. Why not get advice from Frontier Motors as far as what you should pay? And you can join us on the show by dialing 478-3116. Again, that is for the people that are listening to the show. We are on WCOA Radio, which is a talk radio station. We've got in the background right here if you're watching us on TV. If for you TV listeners, like Ron said, the dealership's phone number is 436-8080, and you can call there during working hours, and we can give you the same advice at the dealership, of course, that we can give you on the radio show. We have with us our new car cost guides. And the reason that I bring these with us to show people out there that even if you're buying a brand new car, which we're an independent dealership, we sell used cars, but even if you're buying a brand new car, we can tell you what to pay for that brand new car because we have the invoice prices. And around this morning I was reading Consumers Reports, and in the back of Consumers Reports it has the area where you can buy the invoice. And the invoice for a brand new car through Consumers Reports is $14.90 for one invoice. So let's say you're looking at 5 or 6 different or maybe 10 different cars. It could cost you $140 or $150 to find out the dealer cost if you go through Consumers Reports. At Frontier Motors, we can give you this information at no charge. But I think the best thing that we can do is help you with the value of your car.
Value of your used car or value of your trade. And many times, a couple examples, we had a gentleman that had a really nice GMC 2500 diesel, and he didn't need the diesel anymore. They sold his trailer, so he went to a gas burner, and he was trading it over at the Dodge dealer in Milton. Well, he went over to the Dodge dealer in Milton. They said they would give him this much money. He brought it over by us. We said we'd give him this much money, which was an improvement. He said, well, can I trade it over there and get the same value through them? And they said, yes. Take this piece of paper. We gave him a voucher, showed him how much we would pay for the car. He traded it at the Dodge dealer, and we still got the very, very nice, clean, low-mileage trade. And that's how somehow we can help you. Frontier Motors was established, we're in our 16th year of business. And by the way, happy holidays. All the holidays are upon us, and I hope everybody's out there driving safe. But 16 years ago, we developed a dealership in a car lot that didn't have all the hassles. And Ivan and I every day hear hassles that are out there, There was a gentleman, he was an attorney here in Pensacola. He went to Car City and went up there to buy a car for his daughter. Went to a couple different dealerships and landed on one dealership where he thought the car was a good value. The car was nice. She would like it. And he's surprising her. And one of the things that happened, though, it took him almost 3 hours to try and put this deal together. And it was incredible. He said, that is absolutely impossible. There's no way it could take 3 hours. Once they got settled on the car, he understood that he had to test drive it. Then he came back and he negotiated the price. Then they sent him to another office. Then they sent him to another office. Then they told him he had to wait to get his paperwork done. And you know what he said? I ain't waiting no more. I've had enough. And came over to Frontier Motors under a recommendation of a friend. And we had him in and out of there within probably 30, 40 minutes. He came back yesterday, picked it up, and he wasn't there 25, 30 minutes, and he was gone, and his surprise is all done. But the aggravation end is really what's bad in this car business, isn't it?
I talk to customers around. I ask them, well, why did you drive your car for 100,000 miles? Why don't you trade a little bit earlier before when the car still has a value? And they said, the reason I don't trade earlier is not because it doesn't make sense to trade earlier, because I hate buying a car. I hate the process. And Don, you bought...
Does it make that? Yeah, I have. Does it make that much difference, the 100,000? The 100,000 mile limit.
If you're going to trade, I mean, my suggestion is try to trade in the 80s and in the 80s if you can. I mean, now, some people are going to drive to 130, 150,000 miles, but the reason is because I can still get just about any car financed if it's got less than 90,000 miles on. Once you hit the 90,000 mile mark, that's a break point for a lot of the banks and financial institutions. Not so much for the credit unions. The credit unions put a lot of the emphasis more on the buyer than they do the value of the car. But a lot of the banks will, once it's over 90,000 miles, they don't want to mess with it because if it gets repoed, the car's not worth that much. So they won't finance it. And that's why the easier it is to finance, the easier it is to sell. The easier it is to sell, the more money I'm going to give you. You know, if it's a car that's going to sit on the shelf for a long time, you know, if you get a car with 150,000 miles on it, if it's in really good condition, that car will also sell. It just takes longer because you're looking for a cash customer. And unfortunately, there's not that many of them out there that are coming in with, you know, $5,000, $6,000 in their pocket. And if somebody has had the ability to save $5,000 or $6,000, they can use that as a sizable down payment on a $15,000 or $20,000 car and have very low payments. And most people that have the ability to save money like that also have pretty good credit. So they don't really have to pay cash. They can finance, have small payments, maybe a couple $100 a month, and get themselves almost a brand new car out of it.
And let me give you some finance advice, and since Ivan jumped into that. Financing is really, really good right now on used cars and, of course, new cars. You know, there's always new car incentives out there. But on used cars, it's tremendous. The credit unions are doing tremendous amount of business. They're advertising everywhere, 2.9, 3.9, 4.9, everywhere. The business itself, though, when the banking business went bad for mortgages, you know, you have to still be a little bit cautious. Be prepared when you go to buy a car. Bring your proof of income with you. You know, all you got to do is bring a couple paycheck stubs, keep that with you, and those things you will need to prove to the bank, because what happened back in, if you watched any of the 60 Minutes program, they were basically making up somebody's income just to make it up. If the guy was buying a 15,
not anymore.
But if he was buying a mortgage and they just made up his income, but now they want that proof. So
that would be like
do yourself
lying.
a favor.
Isn't making stuff up lying?
Well, not according to what they were saying. They was twisting. No, because whatever the person put on the application and signed, then he was doing that. It wasn't the lender, or it wasn't the person.
Anticipated increase in income.
He was getting coached.
Yeah. In other words, what Ron's saying is, when you come to a car dealership, Ron, this happens once in a while, where I have people that go to other car dealerships say, well, I was pre-approved at the car dealership down the road, but then we find out that the car dealer actually lied on the application, which is illegal. You get in really big trouble with that.
Sure.
If you are making $1,800 a month, you better be able to prove it. I think that's what Ron's saying. And we've had a rash of people lately that have come into the dealership. They're applying for credit. They're telling us they make $2,500. We get them all approved. They're ready to take delivery. Bring your proof of income in, and the income says they're making $1,500. Well, guess what? That's not going to work. But we should expound on that. Ron is right. We have the best rates that I think that we've ever had in the car business. Ron and I got in the car business when we were about 15 years old, starting as lot kids in a dealership in Wisconsin. And back then, the interest rates were in the 20s.
Right.
And they've steadily come down. And over the last couple years, it's been about 3.9 to 5.9 for somebody with excellent credit. I heard a credit union the other day, Ron, advertise rates, again, as low as 2.5% on used cars.
Yeah.
You know, something you kick out it has to be a new car.
Right.
Well, do you know, folks, that you can get just as good of a rate on a used car as you can in a new car? And that didn't used to be the case. I sold new cars for a long time where the manufacturer would give 2.9 on a new car and 5.9 on a used car because they're trying to persuade you to buy the new. Well, not anymore. Right now, I can get you just as good of a rates on a used car as a brand new one.
And all the banks are doing that. And we have Fidelity National Bank. We have Wells Fargo Dealer Services. We have Chase. We have Hancock Bank. We have it all inside. And Ivan was talking about how you get that good rate. Folks, I'm going to give you a little advice. It's loan to value. If you're buying a $20,000 car and you're not financing 100%, but let's say you're financing $15,000, that means you have $5,000 worth of equity. The bank loves that. They give you the best rate and the best term. So if you're out there shopping the best rate and best term, make your loan to value the best you can. You know, take that money, use a little bit on the credit card, and take some of that money out of savings. Don't take it all for Christmas, but take some of that out of there and get your loan to value. You know why? You'll get a better rate and a better term, and that makes it a lot easier not to pay too much for your car, even if you got to finance it. If you're fortunate enough to pay cash, of course, that's nice to do. You get it over with and you're done. But financing is wonderful and it's good out there. And if you're not getting good financing, contact Frontier Motors. On the bottom of the screen is our telephone number at the dealership is 436-8080. If you have any questions about that, you can join us here on the radio show at 478-3116.
We talked about why some of the customers drove the cars up to 100,000, 150,000 miles. I always it makes more sense to actually trade when you have about 60 or 70,000 miles, because I'll give you so much more for your car. And over a 10-year cost period, you can buy 2 cars for the price of 1 car. Because if your car is 10 years old with 150,000 miles on, it's not worth a lot of money. But my customers come back and tell me the reason they don't come in more often is because they hate the car buying process. And I think the reason they hate it is because, number one, they don't know if they're getting a good deal or not. Number two, it's the process that most dealerships, especially more so franchise dealerships, put you through, because a lot of the franchise dealerships are owned by large conglomerates, and they have what we call in our industry, which is a bad word, it's called company policy. And the company policy is some of these dealerships are absolutely ridiculous. And we always talk about one of the dealerships that's across the pond, which is only about maybe 10 miles away, and across the pond, that the only way that you can get a price on a vehicle is if you take it for a test drive. That's the rule.
Or the only way to do it is give them your name, your address, and your social security number.
Yeah, or else you can't get a price,
right.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. We have price lists at Frontier Motors. We have 325 cars in inventory, and I have a price list that when you walk into Frontier Motors, if you're not sure what our pricing is on our cars, here you go. Here's a price list. So there's no secrets. And I was talking to one of the salespeople that was working at a local dealership just the other day, Ron, and he said that he actually was working at the dealership. He made his own price list. He went around and he made his own price list, and the managers got a hold that he had a price list, and they basically just about fired him on the spot. And he thought, why would that be? Don't you want the customers to know the price? They said, no, we don't. And the reason they don't is because they wanted to fluctuate the price based on the type of customer that we have, which I think is pretty sad that one customer gets charged $22.9, the other customer gets charged $18.9. Well, Frontier Motors, we've got a price list. Everybody has the same list. And of course, what you do is you can stop in by Ron or myself, Ivan, and what we do is we give you the bottom line price in writing within a couple of minutes. So it's hassle-free. If you decide you want to shop around, we're not going to do the, if I did this, would you buy it today? What if I gave you this for your car? Would you buy it today? What do you want to pay? All those stupid adjectives that car dealerships use. What we do is say, here's what we can sell you our car for. Here's the trade-in value of your car. Here's the bottom line. Here's the taxes, title, and dock fee. This is the total. Let me just circle it for you. And now if you can find the car that I have at another dealer's lot for less money, go ahead and buy it. If it's more money, come on back and buy mine. And almost always the customer comes back and buys our car. Number one, not just because of the price and the car, but also because of the way that we made it so easy and fun for them to actually get that price, where the other dealerships make it so difficult that they just walk out in frustration and say, forget it. I'm going back over to Frontier Motors. I'll just buy the car from them.
As you see, we're trying to get the difficulty out of shopping for a car. First of all, when you go, if you're going to finance it, take your proof of income with you. Number two, Ivan's saying that if you go shopping from dealer to dealer and want to better your price, get the whole thing in writing. And you should also do that with internet. If you're shopping on the internet can really tell you everything, and the internet cannot tell you anything. You know, if you can't get the dealer or the salesperson to email you the tax, tag, title, and everything, out-the-door prices, then you don't need to shop there. It's the same way that if you go down to the local dealer here in Pensacola, Fort Walton, or Mobile, or wherever you are, if they won't write their figures down, tax, tag, title, like Ivan's saying, then that's going to make it more difficult to buy the car. You know, the other thing is when you bring your trade-in with you. You know, you don't have to have it appraised at the beginning of the sale. You can throw that in at the end of the sale. If you're happy with the price, if you're negotiating a $20,000 car and you got the dealer to go down to $18,500, then you're happy, then throw the trade in if you want to. Or if you want to put it in at the beginning of the thing. You know, sometimes people come in and they don't know what their trade-in is worth, and I understand that. We barely do until we look at it, touch it, feel it, and look it up. So if you want to know what it's worth before you start the sale, so that you know how much you have to work with, by all means, tell the salesperson at Frontier Motors what you want to do. Now, will it happen at another dealership? They'll look at you, like a Cheshire cat. They won't know what they're doing. They get one of these looks, and the manager they'll change salesman, and then a manager will come in. Look, it's all very easy. What we're trying to do is take the difficulty, like Ivan said, out of the sale. And one of the things that we do is we don't have all those steps. We don't have those company policies we mentioned, and that makes it a lot easier. When you come to Frontier Motors, one of the things Ivan said was the list that we have. The other thing is all the cars are opened. Every morning, I saw them out there this morning. It was very, very cold. As we know, the weather gets closer to the holidays. And they're out there, and they bundled up with jackets and gloves and hats, and they're opening all the cars for you. Why? because it makes it more difficult if they aren't open, so that you can look and touch and feel when your family's there.
And the nice thing about it also, when you stop in Frontier Motors, if you're not exactly sure what you want, what a great place to go car shopping, because we've got them all lined up. And we'll use a sport utility, for example. If you're looking for a mid-size sport utility, what you can do is you can look at the Lincoln MKX. Right next to it, we've got a Ford Edge. We have a Ford Flex. If you want to take a look at a Toyota Highlander, the Toyota Venza, or the Toyota 4Runner, we have them right next to the Nissan Pathfinder, the Armada. Of course, the Armada's a big one. Or you can go with the Chevrolet. We've got the Traverse, the Chevrolet Traverse.
Ford
We've got
Edge.
the Equinox,
Mm-hmm.
the Edge, the Escape, the Explorer. We just delivered our first 2011 new body style Ford Explorer. And when you come to Frontier Motors, instead of going to 15 dealerships to look at 15 different makes and models, you can come to one dealership and look at all makes and models. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to buy that particular car, but like what we had happened the other day on the Ford Edge, Ron, is the lady came in and she says, I want a new body style Ford Edge. She's already test-driven one. We didn't have exactly what she was looking for. She wanted a limited, she wanted a light color, and she wanted a light color interior, and she wanted less than 20,000 miles on it. And I went out and bought that car for her, put it in the delivery room, was all cleaned up. Then she came and looked at it, and then once it passed inspection, we already had all the pricing worked out before we even got the car. We had her trade-in worked out, and she went ahead and said, I'll take it. It's exactly what she was doing for her, and she didn't have to have the hassle of going to 5 different deals. She didn't want to do that. She just wanted to come in and say, give me a good deal. I trust you guys. I'll go ahead and buy it as long as you give me a good vehicle.
Man, they should come up with that while you're shopping for Christmas. You know what I mean? Let's go to Best Buy. They come in there and you get a Lazy Boy lounger. You sit down in there and you tell the salesperson exactly what you want. I want this kind of screen. I want this much thing, and bring it to me and let me look at it. And that's what we do at Frontier Motors. We're trying to take the difficulty out of there. We also talk about different things that are going on in the industry. Ivan brings his magazines. We have a dealer magazine that is on the inside of the dealers that gives you the dealer incentives, the dealer rebates, and those things. And you got to have that information, because when we go buy a 2011 or 2012 used car, we want to make sure that we're not overpaying, so that when we market it, that we're not marketing it for more or less. We want to market it about $2,500 to $3,000 less than the new one. So those are there. What are you looking at ratings today?
Well, I was going to give my kudos once again to the Hyundai. Hyundai's made such a big splash around. We've got the luxury rating sedans and the Consumers Reports, and the BMW 535 has a rating of 81, which is pretty darn good.
81, yeah.
It's a recommended car, and ahead of it is the Genesis with a rating of 87. The Hyundai Genesis has a base price of $43,000, and the BMW is $58,000. You got a $15,000 price difference between those cars, and the Genesis was rated better than the BMW. And I'm just using that example because we get customers all the time looking for BMWs. They're looking for the Porsches. They're looking for Jaguars. And there's other cars that are less expensive. And when I mention the name Hyundai, they say, you're out of your mind. I'm not buying no Hyundai. I want a BMW. Well, why is that? The status symbol of a BMW is way better than the status symbol of a Hyundai. I think what they should have done about 10 years ago when they came out with that 100,000 mile warranty, and Hyundais were crappy little cars, and now they're really, really good cars. I think they should have changed the name.
No.
Almost like Nissan did. Remember, it used to be Datsun?
Yeah.
And then they went to Nissan. When they first did that, I thought they were crazy. But boy, was that profitable for them to do that. And Hyundai and Kia just had such a bad rap. They should have just changed the name, and right now they'd probably be outselling everybody instead of just outselling some of them.
Yeah, we had a customer in there yesterday. It made quite sense. He said he was looking at a Honda Civic, and he could buy a used 2011 Hyundai Sonata, which is a much bigger, much more luxury car with much more space, with almost the same type of fuel mileage for the same price.
I take the Sonata.
Yeah, that's what he was coming in. He said, I'm going to take the Sonata. That's a much better deal, more room, plus all the reputation. Plus, he said they got a better warranty. They got a 5-year, 60,000 bumper-to-bumper warranty. And with Honda, it's 3636. And then they have a drivetrain warranty, the 560. But he said it's bumper-to-bumper on that car. So he was excited about it. And they've come from, like I said, the outhouse to the penthouse. The nice thing about that is still only about 50% of the public believes that. Just like Ivan said when he said, hey, you're crazy. What advantage is that for you, the consumer watching on television, listening on the radio? Well, buy it used, because that depreciation is still a little bigger. The Honda might have a 10, 11, 12% depreciation. The Honda's still going 15 to 20%. So you want to grab that depreciation, buy it used, buy it with 10, 11,000 miles on it, and keep on going. Just like Roger and his wife bought the Lincoln. You know, they bought a Lincoln $10,000, $15,000 cheaper than they could buy a new one. and yet they got the same car with the same thing with, I think it has 17,000 miles on it, and they just love it. I mean, it's just the way to go.
Our whole claim to fame is selling the alternative to new, and that's why, folks, if you're thinking about buying a new car, you have a friend or relative or neighbor that's thinking about buying a new car, you want to tell them, pop into Frontier Motors before you sign the dotted line, and let's see what we can get you a 2012 or a low-mileage 2011 for, and let's see what the depreciation is, and it will astound you. That's why we've been doing so good, and that's why we outsell just about every dealership in the Pensacola area against new cars. You know, when you look at some of these new car dealerships that are selling 70 or 80 cars, and we're selling 150 cars. The reason is because people are walking in, they're giving us a shot. And for those of you that are out there listening or watching this on TV, I'm telling you, stop in at Frontier Motors before you buy the new car. And if we can't save you the money, that it makes it worthwhile for you to buy the new car, we're the first one to tell you, then go buy the new one. But you know, while we're there, we'll do one more thing for you. We'll tell you what we'll pay for the trade-in. And so often, I'll have people that say, you know, I don't really want to mess with the trade-in. If you guys are going to give me a fair appraisal or a better appraisal in the dealership down the road, I'll just sell you guys the car direct, and that way I can go buy the new car and not have to hassle with trying to figure out what's the new car price, what's my trade-in value. So take us up on that free appraisal service.
One of the other things, we are a drop-off point for the Toys of Tots Toys for Christmas. So we are located at 230 Beverly Parkway, and it's amazing. It almost puts you in the Christmas spirit when you see these people walking through the door. So we're putting our calls out to our Frontier Motors customers, the ones listening, the ones watching, that we are a drop-off point, and you can bring it by anytime during business hours, 8 to 6.
Filled.
Box is filled. There's bicycles outside. It just makes everybody in the Christmas spirit. Even all of our salespeople, all of our employees are excited about that. So if you're listening to the show and you got just a little bit of extra money, you got $1 or $2 in your pocket, you can drop by a present over there. We're open from 8 to 6, and you can glad drop it off. And it's overfilled now, and Sanborn's going to come and empty it, so we're going to have a brand new empty box. So we're hoping to then encourage everybody to come back over Frontier Motors and let's fill it up one more time. And we thank you very much during these holidays. What are you reading over there about that? What's that red fancy car right there?
That's a Ferrari. But
no, we don't have any of those. You know, you say you can come to Frontier Motors, and we don't have no Ferraris.
I don't want to even bring up the Ferrari because this is like one of these articles where you want to throw up. Ferrari has to form an owners club to give its members the first dibs on their ludicrously expensive limited edition Ferrari. These Ferraris, the 599 coupe, are $540,000, and some people were ticked off because they were all snapped up. They only built 80 of them. They were all snapped up before they even hit the dealerships. Is that what that? Are we the 99%ers or are we the 1%ers? Can you imagine?
I don't even know.
Come out with a $600,000 car and the car is sold out,
and they're mad
before it hits the dealership. That's why I didn't even want to read that article, but you got me going on it because it's a very pretty car. Can you imagine Don driving it? $600,000.
I can imagine it. That's all.
There was something on news the other day in Japan. There was a club going to an event, and there were 7 of these Ferraris all going together. And guess what happened?
There were some Lamborghinis.
Lamborghinis, and they crashed.
Yeah,
they crashed 7 of them.
Flying down the highway, and somebody got too close playing a little game.
Yeah, they said there was over $7 million in damages to the cars. Can you imagine? Wrong place. In other words, if you buy one of these, don't hang together. You know, you got to be all by yourself.
An interesting statistic that I see in our automotive news, Ron, it says cash cows, the most profitable vehicles ever built.
I'm thinking of Ferrari right now.
Well, you know, you'd think that would be, but actually the number one profitable vehicle in the world since 1990 has been the F-150 pickup truck. The F-150 pickup truck has made Ford $50 billion since 1990. And the number 2 is the General Motors pickup truck, and number 3 is the Dodge Ram pickup truck. Boy, oh boy,
$50
oh boy.
billion. That's a lot of money.
Well, when you look at a pickup truck, I have a Tundra that came in the other day, Ron, and I was trying to figure out what to pay for it because it was a 2011 model, and it's what in the car business the term Mac Daddy, which is the nicest one they ever make.
Right.
Leather interior, backup camera, DVD navigation, all the garbage. The window sticker on this vehicle, it was two-wheel drive. The window sticker was $47,000.
Ouch.
So you can imagine if they sold this vehicle to the dealer for let's say for $43,000, what does it cost to build that vehicle? And that's what they're talking about as far as the most profitable. The top 3 vehicles were all pickup trucks. The number 1 car is the Mercedes S-Class, which I guess for $90,000 base price, they make pretty much money on that Mercedes S-Class. And I'm not talking about the dealer, folks. I'm talking about the actual manufacturer that are building these cars. And then it was the BMW 5 Series, then the BMW 3 Series. And this has to do with not only the markup of the car and the profitability on one particular car, but how many they sell.
Right.
They sell a lot of these cars. cars, and the number one selling vehicle in the world since 1990 has been the F-150, which a lot of people don't know that. They think it's a Volkswagen or they think it's a Camry. It's not. It's an F-150 pickup truck. And even the Camry was on the list, the Porsche 911, the Honda, the Jeep Grand Cherokee. They make a lot of money.
They've had that thing around a long time. Jeep Wranglers, Jeep Grand Cherokee. Jeep Wranglers, right now, I think we have about 7 of those in stock if you're interested in one of those. You know, Frontier Motors is just not your everyday dealer. You know, I was looking at some of the numbers. We have 10 BMWs in stock. We have 6 Cadillacs. We have 35 Chevrolets. Most of the people don't even have 35 cars on their lot. When you're independent dealerships, we have 12 Chryslers. We have Dodges. We have 15 Dodges. Fords. You're talking about Fords and pickup trucks? We got about 5 minutes to go, so I can rattle on here just a little bit. 42 Fords, 6 GMCs, 17 used Hondas. Okay? Hyundai products, as I was talking about earlier, 10, 4 Infinitis, Jeep Wranglers and Jeep Grand Cherokees, 11, 7 Kias, Lexus. We have 13 Lexus, 4. We have 4 Lincolns. We have Mazdas. We got them all. Nissans. Just Nissans alone, 29 used Nissans in stock, and it goes on. And Toyota, I think we have a lot, 34 used Toyotas in stock. So the choice is there. We take the hassle out. We open the cars. We give you a price. We try to make it as easy as possible. We offer great financing, just like everybody's supposed to. We put everything in writing, and we put it on the drive out, plus tax, tag, title, doc fee, everything out the door without you screaming and yelling. And if you'd like to know, while we're doing that, how we're pricing it, we do that also. We always tell you how, when, where. In other words, if you're going to borrow money, we tell you how much you can borrow, how much you're going to have to put down, how much you're going to borrow, how much you don't have to put down. And it becomes very, very easy. Make it easy when you go out and you buy a car. If you're going to finance, take your proof of income with you. If you're going to trade, take your trade-in and your title with you so you have that proof of, or take the information that you have on the payoff. Make it easy when you get there, and it'll make it much easier for you. The other way to make it easier, if you're going to buy a new car and you're not listening to us at all on the radio and TV, then what you want to do is you want to get your car appraised before you reach the new car dealership, and that's absolutely free at Frontier Motors. The salespeople will help you with it. Ivan will help you out. I will help you with it. We have 2 great sales managers, Bruce and Keisha, there that will help you with it. So anybody at Frontier Motors will help you before you get there and make it much easier on your next purchase. If it's a used car from Frontier Motors, if it's a used car that Uncle Bob's selling down the street, or if it's a new car from one of the big franchise dealers around our area.
And we can also help you out that if you've got a car, and I had a customer happen this the other day, yes, actually it was yesterday, Ron. Customer came in and he said that he is now going to be getting a company car. So his vehicle's for sale, and he says, I work 12 hours a day. I don't have time to mess with this, and I am off on Sunday, but the last thing I want to do is have people come over to my house to try to sell my car on Sunday. Why don't you guys sell the car for me? How does that program work? And he thought that we charge like a 10% commission or we charge a monthly fee. We don't. What we do is we establish a price of the car. Let's say I establish a price of the car. Our selling price is going to be $10,000. The way that we make money is anything over $10,000 is ours. So if I sell for $10,500, I make $500. If I sell for $11,000, I make $1,000. But what we do is we give you more than wholesale. One thing we can do is we can offer you a price, and this happened this morning, Ron. Matter of fact, I think the gentleman is still at the car dealership right now. He pulled up in a 2006 Mustang GT, and he wanted to know what it's worth. This is why. He says, because I need the money, I got to get rid of the car. So what I did is I made him an offer as far as what I'd write the check for, and I also told him I'll give you $1,000 more if you do the consignment. He decided to just sell it, because he needed the money, he needed it right then and there. But I would offer them both ways. And folks, if you've got a car and you don't want to mess with it, you don't want to have people come over the house, there's security issues all over. Everybody's talking about identity theft and all that stuff. Just bring it to Frontier Motors. We might just write you a check for it. And if the check that we're writing is not enough for you, let us give you a little bit more money because we don't have to tie up our cash. And let's do a consignment where we will sell it for you.
Couple of ways to get a hold of us. FrontierMotorsINC.com. That's our website. FrontierMotorsINC.com. Also, 230 Beverly Parkway is the regular address. I don't even know if they use those anymore. But the telephone number is 436-8080, 436-8080. Remember, free advice, easy to get advice, no gimmicks there. If you're calling to get a value on your car, we're not going to ask you for your telephone number. If you're going to call and get a value for your car, we're not going to ask you where you live. We're just going to help you out and try and spread some of this knowledge out that we've been doing. And that's why we do this radio show. That's why we do this, continue to do the TV show. We want to spread our knowledge a little bit. Plus, we're advertising a little bit for Frontier Motors, and hopefully one day you'll come down there. And remember, this is the holiday season. Everybody's got their mind on a lot of things. We hope you enjoy your holidays, but keep your mind on driving your cars. Do not text while you drive. I'm talking to my girls. And from the Schneider family, my wife Terry, Veronica Madison, and my grandson Mason, everybody have a great and safe holiday week.
And I want to remind everybody out there that even you, yes, you, driving a used car. Everybody's driving a used car. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Great holiday season. I'll be the same.
Or truck. Guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We've got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.